All right, so to kick things off today, I want to start with well, it's a bit of a linguistic puzzle.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It's a really small one, but in the world of skincare chemistry, it's basically what separates the useless from the Holy Grail.
And now the
Picture the word squalene. That's Squalene. Now just swap that E for an A. Squalene.
okay. Yeah, visually that's almost nothing.
Yeah.
But chemically, that's everything.
Yeah.
It's the difference between a rancid oil and a shelf-stable powerhouse.
Exactly. And that is why we're doing a deep dive into squalane oil today. We're working from a really comprehensive guide by Era Organics.
Right.
But we want to push past the brochure level stuff, because if you walk down a beauty aisle right now, squalane is just, it's everywhere.
Oh, it's having a huge moment. But unlike a lot of trends we see, I'm thinking of like snail meal, this isn't just novelty. The reason squalane is everywhere is actually a lesson in something called biomimicry.
Biomimicry. I love that word. Marketing teams definitely love that word. But are we talking about real biological compatibility here, or is it just a synthetic that kind of acts like nature?
No, this is the real deal. In this case, we're not just copying nature, we're copying our own biology.
Our own biology?
Yes, but we have to tweak it just a little bit to make it survive in a bottle.
Okay, so let's get into the weeds on that. We need to really understand the difference between the E and the E. The source material starts with sharks, which is not great.
Right. Historically, squalene with the E was harvested from shark livers. Deep-sea sharks specifically need it for buoyancy.
Which is, it's an ethical and environmental disaster, but the industry has mostly moved on from that, right?
Mostly, yes. The Era Organics guide is really clear that modern squalane is almost entirely plant-derived now.
From what?
We're talking sugarcane, olives, rice bran, wheat germ. The source is different, but the molecule is what really matters.
So we have this plant-based squalane. Why can't we just bottle that? Why the extra step to turn it into squalane?
Because squalene is what's called a polyunsaturated hydrocarbon.
In English?
In English, it means its chemical structure has these weak spots, these double bonds, and those bonds are super reactive. If you expose pure squalene to air, it oxidizes. It goes rancid fast.
So it's like the avocado of skincare ingredients.
Exactly. Perfect for about 5 minutes, and then it's brown and useless. And you do not want oxidized oils on your face. That causes inflammation, aging, all the things you're trying to prevent.
Okay, so the lab steps in.
The lab steps in and creates squalane, with an A, through a process called hydrogenation. They add hydrogen to the molecule, which breaks those unstable double bonds.
And that makes it saturated.
Correct. It becomes a saturated oil, which means it's stable, it's inert, it has a massive shelf life, it's not going to oxidize in the bottle, and it's not going to oxidize on your skin.
But does that processing take away the magic? If we're changing it so much, does our skin still recognize it?
And that's the incredible part. Even after hydrogenation, the structure is so similar to the squalane our own skin produces, which, by the way, makes up about 13% of our sebum.
Oh, wow.
That the skin just accepts it. It doesn't see it as a foreign invader.
So that's the biomimicry claim in action?
That is it. The skin recognizes it as self, so it absorbs deeply instead of just sitting on top like a heavy grease slick.
It's like a friendly Trojan horse.
A very friendly Trojan horse, yes. It just slips right past the gates because it looks like it belongs there.
This brings us to the application part, and specifically the big paradox that I know trips a lot of people up: oily skin.
The old fight fire with fire scenario.
Right. If my skin is already oily, the absolute last thing I think I should do is put more oil on it. The logic says that's just going to make me greasier, clog my pores. But the source material is adamant that squalane is good for oily skin. So explain that mechanism.
It's all about a feedback loop in our oil glands. A lot of the time, oily skin is actually dehydrated skin that's, panicking. Yes, your moisture barrier is dry, so the alarms go off saying, we're vulnerable, deploy the oil. And your glands just pump out excess sebum to try and protect the skin.
So the grease is a panic response.
Precisely. So when you apply squalane, because it mimics that natural oil so perfectly, it basically tells those glands, hey, stand down, the barrier's good, we have enough coverage here.
It tricks the skin's thermostat.
It downregulates oil production. So over time, you actually become less oily. And, unlike something like coconut oil, squalane is incredibly lightweight. It's non-comedogenic.
I want to pause on that term, non-comedogenic. It's thrown around so much, but it's not actually regulated. Anyone can just slap that on a label.
That's a fair point.
Do we have real data that it doesn't clog pores?
Well, while the label itself is unregulated, the chemistry is pretty clear on this one. Squalane has a very low molecular weight. It doesn't oxidize and then harden inside the pore, which is what usually causes a blockage, a blackhead.
Ah, okay. It doesn't harden.
It stays fluid, and it integrates with your own oils, so the chance of it causing a clog is extremely low compared to, say, heavier waxes or esters.
Got it. Okay, let's flip the script. Dry and aging skin. We know it needs moisture, but the Era Organics Guide uses these terms emollient and occlusive. I feel like people use those interchangeably.
They do, but they're very different functions.
Mm-hmm.
An emollient is about texture. It fills in the little micro cracks between your skin cells, that flakiness you can see. It smooths the surface. Squalane is a fantastic emollient.
And the occlusive part.
That's the seal. An occlusive prevents something called transepidermal water loss, or TEWL, basically water evaporating out of your skin.
Right.
Now, usually heavy occlusives like petrolatum just sit on top. They're like plastic wrap. Squalane is unique because it's a breathable occlusive. It reduces water loss without suffocating the skin.
And what about the aging claims? The guide mentions collagen support. I'm always a little skeptical when a topical product says it boosts collagen.
It's more about protecting the collagen you have. By keeping the skin deeply hydrated and preventing that oxidative stress we talked about, it protects the existing collagen structure from breaking down.
So it's not creating new collagen, it's just defending it.
It's playing defense, which lets your skin's own repair processes play offense more effectively. It just creates a much better environment for your skin to function properly.
What about the really sensitive crowd? People with eczema, rosacea, psoriasis. They're usually terrified of trying new things.
Squalane is probably the safest bet for them because it's inert. It's so biologically compatible that the immune system doesn't flag it as an enemy. It just flies under the radar.
Under the radar.
Exactly. And it has anti-inflammatory properties. For something like eczema, the skin barrier is what we call leaky. It lets moisture out and lets irritants in. Squalane essentially catches those holes in the barrier, which immediately calms the redness and the itch.
The notes even mentioned it's good for wound healing.
Yes. If you've picked at a pimple, Squalane helps accelerate cell regeneration. It keeps the area moist, which is way better for healing than letting it scab over, and it protects it without any stinging.
Okay, so it really does seem like a universal soldier. But the market is so crowded. I want to play a little game of Squalane versus the world.
Let's do it.
First up, hyaluronic acid, HA. It's the king of hydration, right? Holds 1,000 times its weight in water. Why do I need Squalane if I'm already using HA?
Because hyaluronic acid is a humectant. It's a water magnet. It grabs moisture from the air or from the deeper layers of your skin and pulls it to the surface.
Which sounds great.
It is. But here's the catch. If you don't seal that water in, it just evaporates. And in a dry climate, HA can actually make your skin drier by pulling water out of your skin and letting it escape.
So HA opens the door but doesn't close it.
Precisely. Squalane is what closes and locks the door. They are the perfect teammates. You use HA to grab the water and then Squalane to lock it in. It's not an either, it's a both hand.
Okay, next matchup. Retinol, the heavy hitter for anti-aging. But it comes with what people call the retinol uglies, the peeling, the redness.
The irritation, yeah. Retinol is aggressive. It forces cell turnover. Squalane is the diplomat. If you use Squalane with your retinol, it buffers that irritation. It helps maintain the barrier that retinol is trying to, blast through.
Does it make the retinol less effective, though?
No, and that's the beauty of it. It might actually help the retinol deliver more effectively by improving penetration, but it calms the surface-level side effects. It can stop the peeling before it even starts.
So Squalane is the mandatory chaser to my retinol shot.
I would say so, yes. Mandatory chaser.
All right, let's talk routine. The how. We see Squalane in cleansers, toners, creams. But if we're talking about a pure Squalane oil, where does it go in your routine?
The general rule is thinnest to thickest. So cleanser, toner, any water-based serums like your hyaluronic acid, then your Squalane.
And is that before or after a moisturizer?
This is where people have different opinions. But the research mentions a great technique called the oil sandwich.
Explain the sandwich.
Okay, so you put on your water-based stuff, then a layer of Squalane, and then you put your heavier cream moisturizer on top of that.
Wait, really? I always thought the oil goes absolutely last to seal everything in.
Usually that's true for heavier oils. But because Squalane is so light and so good at penetrating, putting it under a cream can actually help pull the beneficial ingredients from that cream deeper into the skin.
That's interesting.
Or, my favorite method, you just mix them. Put a dollop of your moisturizer in your palm, add 2 drops of Squalane, mix it together, and apply.
The cocktail approach.
Exactly. It instantly upgrades a basic lotion into a superpowered barrier repair cream.
I like that. It feels customizable. What about applying it to damp skin versus dry skin?
Oh, always damp. Always.
Why is it always?
Because oil doesn't hydrate. It moisturizes. Hydration is water. You need the water present on your skin first for the squalane to trap. If you put oil on bone-dry skin, you're just greasing a dry surface. You're sealing in the dryness.
That is such a critical point. Trap the water, don't just grease the desert.
You got it.
The source also points out some specific product pairings, like Era Organics mixes squalane with turmeric and rosehip in one product. Why those?
It's all about synergy. Turmeric is a huge anti-inflammatory. Rosehip is packed with vitamins. Squalane acts as the perfect carrier vehicle. It improves the penetration of those other active ingredients. It's like the VIP escort that gets them past the velvet rope of the skin barrier.
Okay, we've been very face-focused.
Right.
But the guide calls it a Swiss Army knife. I want to do a rapid-fire round of other uses. First up,
Hair.
frizz control. It smooths the hair cuticle. And unlike coconut oil, it coats the surface for shine without weighing it down or making it greasy.
Nails.
Cuticles. It's pure lipid replacement for all the oils you strip away from washing your hands. Instantly softens them.
Your lips don't have their own oil glands, so they're totally defenseless. Squalane acts as a surrogate oil gland for them.
Makeup. This one surprised me as a primer.
Yep. It smooths out any dry, flaky patches so your foundation glides on instead of clinging and looking cakey. You can also mix a drop into a thick foundation to shear it out and get a dewy finish.
And finally, post-shave.
Razor burn is just micro-trauma and inflammation. Squalane calms that inflammation immediately and creates a soothing barrier so clothes don't chafe.
It sounds almost too perfect. I have to ask the safety question. Is there anyone who should actually avoid this?
It's considered hypoallergenic. It's even fungal acne safe, which is really rare for an oil. But, biology is weird. Safe is never a 100% guarantee.
Right, you can be allergic to anything.
Exactly. The golden rule still applies.
Patch test.
Patch test, always. Inner arm, give it 24 hours. If there's no reaction, you're good to go.
What about purging? If I start squalane and I break out, is that my skin just detoxing?
No. Squalane doesn't increase cell turnover like a retinol, so it shouldn't cause a purge. If you break out, it's a reaction. It's not a gets worse before it gets better ingredient. It should just be calm from the start.
That is a really important distinction. Don't push through irritation with a product that's supposed to be soothing.
Never. That's a total contradiction.
So if we zoom out on all of this, we've gone from shark livers to sugarcane labs, we've talked chemistry, we've talked the skin barrier. It really seems like squalane it's the adult in the room of skincare ingredients.
It is. It's the baseline. And it represents a real shift in how we think about skincare. For so long, the industry was about, conquering the skin.
Burning it into submission with harsh acids.
Right. Squalane represents a philosophy of supporting the skin. It's saying, hey, your skin already knows what to do. It just needs the right materials. We're just giving it the exact molecule it's asking for, but in a stable, reliable form.
I think that's a powerful way to look at it. It's less about fighting your skin and more about fueling its natural function.
And doing it really, really efficiently.
So here's a challenge for everyone listening. Go into your bathroom, pick up your moisturizer, your serum, even your shampoo. Turn the bottle around and scan the ingredients for squalane with an A.
I think you'll be surprised how often it's already in there, doing all the heavy lifting in the background.
And if it's not, maybe consider that that's the missing step. It might just be that one little letter you're missing from your routine.
A simple fix for a very complex system.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. Keep reading those labels, and we'll see you on the next one.
Stay curious.